Do you ever feel like you're all in 1 minute and then totally emotionally checked out the next? Like you're chasing connection one day, but the moment things get too real, you pull back. Maybe you've been in a relationship where it's like one of you is pushing for more, craving closeness, and the other is pulling away, needing space. And then you're stuck in this frustrating back and forth dance that never feels quite secure. You're never really going anywhere. If this sounds familiar, then you may be running on anxious, avoidant attachment patterns, and you're definitely not alone. This attachment style creates emotional chaos. It leaves you wanting love, but never quite feeling safe with it. But here's the good news. You can rewire this pattern and finally experience the safe, steady, deeply fulfilling love that you crave. So in this episode, I'm going to be diving into why anxious avoidant attachment creates instability in love and in your relationships. I'm going to be covering the sneaky fears that really drive emotional push-pull. And then finally, how you can actually break the cycle and you can finally attract secure, healthy relationships. So let's get into this video. Now, I want to start by covering why the push-pull dynamic ruins relationships and creates instability. So the anxious avoidant attachment cycle creates this frustrating pattern where you crave closeness, but you fear emotional vulnerability. You pull someone in, but the moment they start reciprocating, you start pushing them away. You might even attract emotionally inconsistent partners who mirror your own internal conflict, making the roller coaster feel never ending. And it's stressful, right? So here's an example. You meet someone amazing. At first, you're super into it, texting often, making plans, and just feeling the spark. You're like, this is really going somewhere. This is different. But once they start showing up consistently for you, you suddenly feel overwhelmed. You ghost a little, you get distant, or you pick fights out of nowhere. And then when they back off, what happens? You panic and you pull them back in, repeating the cycle. Because your energy is hot and cold, you're attracting people who are the same. You might manifest someone who's emotionally unavailable. Or you might manifest relationships or even situationships where you can never quite get on the same page. If that's you, if you're understanding this, if you've behaved like this, you feel you might be leaning towards this type of behavior, but you're not quite sure, I want you to let me know in the comments because we're here to support you through this, okay? Now, here is how we start to think about healing the subconscious wounds behind the push-pull cycle. If you want to manifest stable, lasting love, you need to heal the conflicting subconscious fears that are driving your attachment patterns. So it's like everything else. It's getting to the root of the problem. It's understanding that you are craving this love. You are within you understand that you're so worthy of it, but you haven't experienced that safety yourself in the past. So it's a whole new thing to you. And almost at times you're starting to feel really smothered. So here's how you start to actually work this out. Firstly, it's about creating emotional safety within yourself. So understanding that you are safe and you always will be because you are yourself. You are your amazing self. You have divine energy and guidance keeping you safe at all times. So you are safe within yourself. And it's about reminding yourself of that at all times. It's also reminding yourself of the safety you already have emotionally. So trusted friendships you have, family members, people who make you feel safe and secure and just feel calm within yourself. And it's about remembering those people in your lives and almost just affirming to yourself, like, I can create these relationships because I have these relationships already. And it's about even making more of an effort to connect with those on the same level, on that exact same healthy relationship cycle. It's about going back to those friendships, probably those steadfast friendships and family members and people that have always been consistent to you in your life, and spending more energy there. And then when you feel those emotional triggers come up, like I mentioned in the example earlier, maybe you just started dating someone, you're having that back and forth. It's about self-regulating when you feel that trigger. So finally it's going somewhere, it's really great. And then maybe they start making future plans, mentioning the future, mentioning things that are going to happen down the line. And you start to feel that panic. You're like, oh, wow, I'm really tied in here with the things that they are mentioning. You start to get nervous and think, okay, I'm going to have to back off a bit. Maybe they're mentioning plans that are going to be happening way in the future. Maybe they're hinting about your life, say like a few years down the line, and how possibly that could lead to something where you form a real partnership, like properly, that you know, maybe even talking about kids, marriage, this kind of thing, moving to another country, and you start to feel stressed. You may even go to the extent where you literally move country. You're thinking about this, and they're thinking about coming with you, and you're like, no. But the truth is, we need to really examine, is this fear that I'm feeling, is it merited, or is it that I'm just scared? I feel the fear. Because what you always need to do is look on paper, literally write down reasons this person is good for me. They're calm, they're balanced, maybe they have a good head on their shoulders. Think about all the things you're looking for in your partner, and if they're ticking loads and loads of those boxes, then you really need to look at your beliefs and why you're feeling like this. Sometimes all it takes is a conversation to say, hey, you're amazing, but in the past I have felt stressed when, you know, relationships get to this point. I do feel a bit of stress. I really love this relationship. We're really going somewhere. But sometimes when I go in too fast, it can ruin things. Making the other person feel aware of how you're feeling can really help. Not necessarily having to spell absolutely everything, but to allow them to understand how you feel, because what can end up happening here is you push someone away who was absolutely perfect for you, who was really, really amazing for you. But you have pushed them to the point where they're like, I'm so worthy of an amazing partner. She's not giving me the respect that I deserve because she's just so hot and cold all the time. So it's probably better that I move on. Don't find yourself in the scenario where you have this potential amazing partner. They're ticking so many boxes. They're so respectful, but you're not in the right place to match up with them yet. And I have said, you heard me right. We are all amazing. We all have the potential to be amazing, but sometimes you're just not ready for that perfect partner because you haven't done the work. When I look back, and thank God I wasn't ready for the perfect partner then. When I look back to when I was younger, like way younger, and I just started dating, there were so many really probably, I'm not going to say perfect. I certainly didn't give them the chance to say that they were perfect. But there were so many really respectful, really good guys who were in really excellent careers, very sensible, very family orientated, blah, blah, blah. But that wasn't my type at that time. You know what it's like when you're young. You don't have the sense to understand this type of thing. And had I been with any of these people at that time for a long term, it would never have worked out because I simply wasn't ready. I was not in that mindset. So you need to make sure that you don't look back in 10, 15 years and say, why didn't I do the work and why wasn't I ready? I don't want you to be in that situation. And luckily now I met my husband at the perfect time. Obviously had done a lot of work on myself. I'm laughing. But I've continued to do lots of personal development work over this relationship, and I have changed entirely in who I actually have become over the course of this relationship. And I actually see myself as a completely different person to when we even first met, even to when we got married, even before that. Like, I do see myself as a completely different person now in how I've managed to develop and grow, and I still got so much more to come. And I continue to work through these things every single day, hence this channel. But that's how you start to heal these subconscious wounds between the push-pull cycle. It's about challenging the belief that love is losing independence. I was your number one person who never really thought about these long-term relationships because I was very scared of losing my independence, because that's the number one thing I am scared of, and it's being trapped. My biggest fear, being trapped in any scenario. But what you come to realize facing all of that is that you can be actually trapped. You can lose your independence in another way by being stuck in the past and not moving on to have this rich and fulfilling, amazing life. You can be that person. So it's really up to you. Do you want to stay in this hamster wheel where you have been for many, many years, or do you want to move on? Do you want to become your best self? Do you want to face the things that have been holding you back all this time? Are you really ready for a relationship? And as you heal the anxious avoidance cycle, then you're going to become magnetically, energetically stable. Because someone who is looking for secure, consistent love, they're going to get that frequency from you. We talked about it so many times on the energetic principles videos before. There's a whole playlist on them. You are going to attract like-minded people because that's how it works. When you're on the same frequency as others out there, you're going to attract each other. You're going to see each other. You're going to feel each other. You just notice these people. So when you see emotionally unavailable people, when you break these attachments that are no longer serving you, when you start to change, remember, it's all a program. You can reprogram yourself very easily if you just focus on doing the right things. So when you change your program, you're going to start to be aware of a completely different type of person who's already out there waiting. You'll become energetically stable, and you're just going to find everybody else out there who's perfect for you, who's energetically stable in your friendships, romantic relationships, and everyone else. And you just won't notice other people because they're simply not on your level in terms of the way you're resonating and vibrating. And I want to understand that you are meant for secure, lasting love. Everyone is. You're an adult now. You don't have to stay stuck in this push-pull cycle. It's up to you to do the work. You are so worthy of love that feels safe, steady, and deeply fulfilling. When you chose to come here onto this beautiful planet, you chose to be in a human body and being. It was because you were meant to experience absolutely everything. And the challenges is why you came here. You came here to learn how to be your best self. And part of that is about healing these attachments that are no longer serving you. And when you heal the anxious avoidant attachment, you're going to break free from emotional inconsistency, because basically it's the epitome of emotional inconsistency. Hot and cold, constantly avoiding, then pulling in. It's just the tip of It's the peak of the mountain. That's what that is. And it's very insecure when you're 1 minute forward, 1 minute back. So when you unlock a whole new level of connection based upon that, built on trust, safety, and devotion, you are going to see that your life is enriched so much more just because you made these changes. So that's giving you a little bit of a starting point on how to think about your relationships if you are stuck in the anxious avoidant attachment style. But I'm going to cover more and more as we go in the future episodes. But I feel like this series, it sounds a bit random, but it's very, very important in terms of the principles for being a healthy, well-balanced, well-adjusted human being. And to be a balanced, well-adjusted human being means unlocking incredible opportunities for you in your life. So it's something that I had to touch on for this channel. We won't go too deeply into it, but I'm going to share a few more videos on the topic just so that you can fully understand the impact of having secure attachments in your life, because I believe that we were born to benefit and to serve others through partnership. It's how the world goes round. We all have this almost like symbiotic relationship in the world where all our gifts and talents are here for a reason and they're beneficial to others. And that's how we move forward in life. You shouldn't be stuck feeling lonely, feeling like you're isolated. Life is not to be enjoyed that way. So if you feel this resonated with you, I want you to hit like, subscribe, and I want to turn on notifications, because this series is guiding you every step of the way. Even if you are somebody who's not anxious avoidant, you're not anxious, you're not an avoidant, of the avoidant attachment style. If you're not relevant to any of this, at least it gives you an awareness of others that come into your life that you may have noticed, and you can help to rationalize and understand why they do things in a certain way. So I want to leave you today with a reminder of the manifestation bundle that's available for you. It's under in the description. You can grab your amazing free gift there. It basically has loads of powerful tools to help you manifest abundance and confidence in your life. So you can find things in there such as the Perfect Day Planner. It's an audio guide that helps you build your best life from the night before all into the next day. So you're literally stepping into your best life every single day. You have visualizations and meditations, things that are going to help you realize your self-worth and release emotional blocks and manifest your absolute best life. So you can also visit mrsmanifestation.com to check out all the amazing things there. And I just want you to remember that manifesting secure, steady love is something that you're absolutely born to experience, and you're going to do that. You absolutely will, especially using the guidance in this series. So it's been amazing having you here today. I want you to have a beautiful day. I want you to comment below what you've taken from this, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.